G'day mates, Paul.K.Dragon here, and it's time for another review. I know I was supposed to do Undertale, but my collab partner Shana Forever had work, Tumblr, and, well, family problems. And with all of that, I don't think she will have time for the Undertale collab. Hopefully one day she will become available, and then we could do so. But right now, Undertale is on hold. But, for now, I might as well review a game which none of you have never heard about. Let's talk about Jackrabbit. Jackrabbit was developed in the Netherlands, where Arjan Brucey then lived, and in La Verne, California, where game designer Cliff Benelinsky lived and worked from his mother's home. It was greatly inspired by Amiga game Zool and the ongoing success of video game classics such as Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man, defining the platforming game genre in the 1990s market, and it was initially considered to be the particle of Sega's Sonic the Hedgehog in the computer world. The game did not manage to reach the popularity of Sonic, but did acquire a certain fan audience due to the fast-paced gameplay, advanced graphics, and the notorious acid jazz level soundtracks, which, by the way, is an awesome soundtrack. I'll provide the link in the description so you can check that out yourself. On July 30th, 1994, a CD-ROM version was released containing all 6 original episodes, as well as 3 additional ones known as the Lost Episodes. In the C episode, there is a secret level with Jazz in the form of a lizard. A shareware Christmas edition was released on December 3rd, 1994, with a special free-level holiday-themed episode titled Holiday Here. Subsequently, pressing onto the CD-ROM edition added this episode, bringing the total episode count up to 10. Furthermore, on October 17th, 1995, another shareware Christmas edition was released, in a different holiday episode titled Holiday Here 95, with 2 more special holiday-themed worlds. I first discovered the game in a shareware demo, and it was part of a 32 mega game pack. It only came with 1 episode, and I liked what I saw. It was fast, and it almost felt like a Sonic game, but with weapons. The game is set in a fantasy world based on Aesop, the tortoise and the hare, in which the enmity between tortoise and hares continues even after 3,000 years. An evil mastermind tortoise named Devon Shell begins conquering planets, suppressing any native confrontation. One of such planets, Charybdis, is home to the peaceful hare kingdom that, once confronted by Shell, is unable to provide enough resistance to fend him off. Enraged by his loss, Devon decides to kidnap Charybdis' princess Eva Irlong and hide her on a distant airbase of unknown location to weaken the hares. In response, the king chooses to send Charybdis' hero, Jackrabbit, who carries the blue LFG 2000 gun. Doom reference. To various planets conquered by Devon that might contain clues to the location of Eva's imprisonment. As Jazz travels through different worlds, he gains new weapons and meets new enemies in his pursuit to rescue the princess and save Charybdis from Devon Shell and his army of turtle terrorists. The game is divided into 6 episodes. Each episode has 3 planets, with every planet consisting of 2 levels. The final level of every episode features a boss fight that players must deal with in order to complete the level. Episodes are tied by a single storyline, usually progressing after each episode is finished. Gameplay mechanics in Jazz are very similar to Zool's, with the exception of not being able to destroy enemies by simply jumping on them, which is not added until Jackrabbit 2. Jazz will run faster and jump higher the longer he runs, avoiding chasms that might lead to harmful objects, unlike other platform games. However, there are no abysses in every level, bifurcates into subsections that might lead into variable items, such as weapon pickups, score items, etc., while the direction of the general progression is hinted with an occasional arrows. Jazz has a light bar that changes in color based on how much health Jazz has remaining. Jazz can withstand a limited number of hits depending on the difficulty you chose, from harmful objects before losing a life. 1 hit's worth of health can be restored by picking up a carrot. Lives can also be accumulated to the maximum number of 10 when killed. Jazz can either start from the beginning of the level, or by continuing on from the checkpoint which you've touched. Items that the players can pick up usually resembles food, computer hardware components, or other familiar shapes that give 100 points each. There are also several benefit pickup items from the game, like the Force Shield that can protect Jazz from 1 or 4 hits, a sidekick from the form of a bird that shoots down enemies, a hoverboard that allows flight in midair, rapid fire, super jump bonuses, and temporary speed up and invincibility, as well as extra lives. Weapons also vary in numbers and consistencies, and include, besides the basic initial blaster you have by default, flame bullets, bi-missile projectiles, TNT sets, and bouncing grenades, or as I like to call them, the Mexican chopping beans from hell! You can also pick up large sets of ammunition that can only be collected by being shot at from their enclosure. The first game features a timer that starts up the number of minutes at the beginning of each level, depending on the difficulty, and counts down to 0. Another countdown appears at the top of the screen where there is less than a minute left. Then time expires, Jazz loses a life. If Jazz reaches and shoots the finish sign before the time runs out, the player is then provided with additional score bonus awarded for remaining time, and a perfect score if he picks up all the items, and or deals with all the enemies. If Jazz finishes the area with a big red diamond, he gets to enter the bonus stage. In these stages, animation switches to a pseudo 3D third-person shooter, as he runs the speedway with the purpose of gathering as many blue diamonds as requested before time runs out, while obstacles try to stop him to slow him down. If the task is accomplished successfully, the player is provided with an extra life. Aside from bonuses, Jazz also features secret levels that can be accessed in specific areas of other levels, once in every episode. Secret levels signs feature a question mark instead of a Devin's head portrait that must be shot. The current level is then considered completed, and the secret level inbox levels themselves consist of an enormous grant area with numerous weapons and items to pick up. One level, however, features a mini-boss while the player assumes control of Jazz in his psychic bird form. Secret levels also feature a count up upon completion that provides the player with extra score points. While yes, the gameplay may be fast-paced on some levels, but majority of levels consist of tight spaces while the player fights with the close camera while carefully navigating through the level. Let's go back to Sonic the Hedgehog for the Genesis for the minute. As you can see, the camera is at a fair distance, where it can see Sonic and an oncoming threat. Now let's go back to Jazz Jackrabbit, where the camera is very close to Jazz, to the point where you don't see an upcoming threat until it hits you. You see, while I was playing the game, I spent the majority of the time getting hit and dying because of blind leaps of faith, because of this stupid up-close camera. If the game had a code to reduce that, then maybe I'd enjoy the game a little better. With that being said, it could be fun on some points of the time with weapons and the soundtrack, which I still adore, by the way. But majority of the levels you're fighting against the up-close camera, and which basically leads you to take blind leaps of faith majority of the time. But don't get me wrong, it can be frustrating for the first time, but it can be fun on multiple speedruns after one completion. Jazz Jackrabbit may be a good time for multiple repeats and speedruns, but it can be a bit difficult for first timers. But it is a good game above all. And that's all I have to say about Jazz Jackrabbit. Hope to see you guys in the next review. Until then, this is Paul.K.Dragon, and I wish you guys happy gaming.